Story time. I thought today I would speak about some of the stuff that I experienced being at high school as a teen a few years back ago, what it was like going to school in Spijkenisse. So I think you should chill back, sit down. It is raining today, so let's do this. It's absolutely horrible weather, but we're doing this today because it's so relaxing in my opinion. Spijkenisse is a place that I grew up majority of my years as a kid, going to school / elementary and high school. The first time I've been to Spijkenisse was in 07-08. I recently turned 6 years old and I got diagnosed with autism, and doctors advised my parents that it was smart at a young age already to go to a school for special kids with needs and stuff, etc. And I did. The first time I was ever in Spijkenisse was in 07-08 to a place that was called the Gelingsschool. It was a phenomenal school. I had a lot of joy. That school did get broken down eventually, and we got a new school in Spijkenisse, like 2 minutes away from the old school. It was by Spijkenisse Centrum, by the roundabout. You got 4 exits. You got the first, second, third, and fourth. So it was the third exit. And it was somewhat hidden there. They broke that down, eventually became a bejaardentehuis, so a basically a place for old people to chill and relax at the age when they retired. So that they got broken down. Anyways, 7th, 8th grade, I was done with elementary, and Spijkenisse, you know, I grew up as a kid, never seen the struggles. I never knew what, you know, struggling was until I went to the Ockers, a school that my parents found. And the only reason why they chose that school was because it was the only school close by to home in the region of Rotterdam that really specialized in kids with autism, etc. And not everybody that went to that school necessarily had autism, but just to say the teachers were more patient and more trained. That's really it. So I've experienced some crazy shit at that high school, man. My first year, I think my first 2 years were the craziest year ever, man. I've seen so many fights. I've seen people drug deal in front of the school. Had a classmate that stabbed someone in public. So let's go talk about that. So anyways, the first year of high school, man, was fucking nuts. You know, I was new to the school. I'd never been to Ockers. I never heard of Ockers, so I wasn't really sure what it was all like. But oh boy, did I find out fast that that neighborhood does not joke around, bro. Ockers is a place in Spijkenisse. It's the lowest of the lowest, and it's an unfortunate thing to say, but it really is. It shows, you know, car-wise, the houses, the people that live there, job-wise. It's a low-income place as well. It's not me saying, you know, this and that. It's just the fact, man. I went to that school for years, for many years, for 5-6 years. So my first year of high school, man. In the first few weeks, a fight broke out. I don't know exactly who it was, but he beat the shit out of a kid. I don't know what the reason was for, but he got so pissed off that he eventually beat a kid up. We were just all chilling on the couch, you know. We had this couch in the middle of the school, and I don't know, they were fighting, and the kid who got beat up bad. So he got expelled from school for a few days. Let's see, fast forward, some other stuff as well, you know. We had this dude eventually once at high school. Now these were rumors, so if these are true, I don't obviously know. I didn't care, but we had this dude who supposedly sent explicit pictures to one of the girls at school. Now if it's true, we don't know. Probably did happen because he was a bit of a strange dude. It was a very odd type, but you know, sometimes funny, sometimes just annoying, if you know what I mean. He had taken a knife to school, and I know I'm laughing, but it's a serious fucking thing. Like, the police had to actually get called because he had a knife. So we had to lock the school down, all the doors closed, all the windows closed, make sure everybody stays in, that nobody goes outside. And the police obviously got caught. I mean, rightfully so. We got a fucking student swinging a knife around, threatening people that they will stab them up, this and that. I mean, that's a pretty serious thing, obviously. So the police got caught. Eventually, he got arrested, and I don't know what happened after him. I think a few days later, he got back to school. The fights as well were insane, man. Like, there were some really big guys at that school in the first 2 years that really were good with fighting. You know, they were kids from the street, bro. They were always on the streets fighting, this and that. I've seen somebody literally deal drugs right in front of my eyes this one afternoon. I was sitting on the bench by the end of the school. So you had like 2 entrances. You had an entrance at the front and at the back. You had an entrance by the gate, and you had an entrance by a bridge at the back, which we hardly used. We only used that when like kids got dropped off with the cabs or got picked off. The front was really just for the people that used to take the bus and metro. So anyways, I was just minding my own business. I think I was listening to Post Malone the weekend. This was 2nd grade. I still remember this. And there was this kid, obviously I won't mention his name, but he had a ankle monitor on him, you know. We had the kids at school that did some naughty shit outside of school. And was this guy, this shady white dude on a BMX. He stopped 1 second by the bridge with him, and I saw them trading drugs. And I minded my business, bro. I made sure, like, yeah, bro, I ain't gonna tell nobody. I never did, bro, because I was like, hey, it wasn't ever my business. But let's talk about, like, one of the worst fights ever, right? Like, I think personally the worst fights that I've witnessed myself was in front of my eyes. So it was a very vague fight as well, because I don't really remember much of what led up to it. So one of my classmates I was speaking to, I was pretty good friends with him. We were just talking, you know, whatever, right? And all of a sudden, a guy that I sometimes occasionally would hang and chill around outside of school, because he lived close by where I lived. He used to live in Hellevoetsluis. He used to live on the Modianseweg. So I used to chill sometimes with him, go on the swing, play football, you know, go to the beach with him, whatever, right? And he walks up to us, and I don't know, he says something, and then, you know, the classmate I was speaking to says, if you you know, mind your own business, you know. He says it in a way of like, hey, you're kind of fucking annoying, because the dude was sometimes annoying, you know, begging for attention and shit. So he said, no, I'll stand right here. And then, you know, he said something to my classmate. Well, my classmate got pissed off, and out of nowhere, he just swung him. I think he swung a left or right hook. They were fighting, so I'm standing back. I'm like, hey, I'm minding my own business, man. I am not getting involved with this, because it wasn't none of my business, not my problem. And the dude got beat up really bad. Yeah, he got beat up fucking crazy. Like, nosebleed, blood all over the floor, swollen eye. I don't think he broke his nose, but he got hit nasty on his nose. And the classmate that I was speaking to, we had nothing. He had nothing, because the classmate that I was, he was actually quite a physical, strong dude, you know. People underestimate him often, but he was actually a very good fighter. He didn't maybe have the technique, but he could swing really hard. I know, because we used to fuck around as well. We used to swing on each other, and he used to occasionally really hit me good with a left or right punch. I never really got him good, because I didn't take it too serious, man. And I've never been a fighter, you know. I don't care about fighting. I've always said, you know, it's the best thing to do is to avoid a fight if there's no actual reason for it, you know. Because nowadays, motherfuckers will pull out a knife on you if you fight. And that shit is so weak. But yeah, that was a crazy fight. I think that was legit one of the worst fights I'd ever witnessed in front of my eyes. Besides the one time at school as well. I've said this story before. This was in 2018. We were on our way to the gym. And on our way to the gym, you know, 2 or 3 classmates that I was with, this woman was outside screaming, struggling. This guy was chasing her, pinned her down, and we could saw immediately, oh shit, she's pregnant. And right as when he put her down, she threw like a bottle of water that we assumed was water. Apparently it was acid, like citric acid or something, like something that burns your eyes. And he said, bitch, I'll get you, blah blah blah. So when he did that, 2 of our teachers came outside and pinned him down. This and that. The cops got called. So we were like, damn, that's fucking crazy, but we just minding our own business, you know. I ain't getting involved in shit like that. I wasn't strong enough. I was a skinny little white dude, bro. I didn't have muscles back then. Like now, you know, your boys all pumped it up, but that's like a different story. And muscles don't equal strength. Let that just be known. You could be muscled up but could be weak. So yeah, I may have muscles, but I may not be strong, because like I said, I've never fought, you know. I've always minded my own business. I've always known how to mind my own business, and you should do too if there's no reason for it. But apparently the story was, he wanted to take her to Spain, like kidnap her sort of, and take the kids, because she was pregnant and he didn't want her kids. The story was fucking weird, man. That's all I can remember is he was pissed off at her. He wanted to kidnap her, that's what she said, and take her with to Spain. And what the rest was, I don't really remember, but it was weird, man. And in general, like, Akker, Spijkenisse is a weird place to begin with, but I had a lot of good memories as well, man. This one time as well, and I'll make a separate video about this, right? Or maybe I'll include in this, is there was this one guy, right, that I was with, and we would often go to the gym. Like, we would go 2 to 3 times a week to the gym, but we had different gyms. Like, the gyms weren't owned by the school. We hired them out so we could have the physical activity, because we had a lot of overweight kids at our school. Like, you'd be surprised, man. A lot of gamers, nerds, you know, that often equals eating junk food and shit, like minimum form of movement. So this one dude that I was with, I wouldn't say I was friends with him, but I'd known him years prior. I went to the 2 different schools with him. I went to school with his cousin for many years, was close friends with his cousin. And actually, I'll say this in this video. It's a really bizarre story. We were just standing both outside of a shopping place. It was called Dirk van den Broek. It was in the Akkers on the way, and the boys, like, we were with a group of boys, and I knew that they were going inside to steal, so I made sure I just stayed outside and look out. And the one dude says, "Yo, look at the bag." I said, "Oh shit, the motherfucker got a whole bag of food in a bicycle bag." It made no sense. I was like, that's weird. Why would somebody just leave a whole bag of cookies and bread in a bicycle bag? That doesn't make no sense, especially in Akkers. You stupid. So anyways, he stole it. I didn't steal it. I was a part of it, but I never touched the stuff. Well, that's not true. Eventually, when we were back at school, I had a whole packet of cookies. The cookies were good, but that dude I was with was in the news twice, and it was crazy. So basically, I won't mention his name, etc., but you can find it on YouTube. So this video went viral a few years ago on Dumpert. It's a Dutch platform just like Worldstar, but Worldstar isn't what it used to be, right? About the fights and shit. Now they just post cancerous content like any other platform does, really, to maintain relevancy. And Jimmy had actually sent me this video because me and him were still going to school. This was in our last year, so this is 3.5 years ago. This was the beginning of 2019, January, February, right? He sent me a link, and I said, "What am I supposed to do with the video?" "It's thingamajig." I said, "Oh, no way, dude. We used to go to school with him. I used to know his cousin very good. I used to chill with them on the block sometimes outside of school times." So I was shocked. I was like, damn, he's beating the shit out of this kid. Now this went viral, bro. The kid name was Tommy. Now look, I don't know what the real true story behind this was. You know, till this day I don't know what really happened, but the story was apparently that Tommy kid had supposedly said racist stuff towards his brother or him in general, and they waited for him outside after school time to confront him, and that's when one of the kids started to beat him up and then stopped, said it was enough, and then the dude that I was with, that we stole that stuff with, he started beating on him heavily, but like going in crazy, beating him up like to a point that he was bleeding, etc. And there were 2 people in that video that got recorded that we knew as well, like, oh shit, they went to our school. One of the dudes actually still was going to our school, but he didn't do nothing. He didn't beat the kid up. He didn't participate. He was just a bystander, you know. So that was all over the news, and I was like, oh shit, that is crazy. So, you know, I think eventually he got expelled from the school that he went to. I don't know what school he went to, but that was a crazy story. And then a few months later, that kid that I was with, that I knew personally, you know, and his cousin, he got stabbed, believe it or not. He got stabbed by the Heemraadlaan in Spijkenisse. It's also a station that I used to take once in a while. Sometimes I used to stop there and then walk from home, or stop there and walk to Spike Center. It was only a 10-minute walk. It was actually quite a chill walk, refreshing, saved you a bit of money as well. He got stabbed, and I don't really know the story behind that. The only thing is that some people claim that, you know, he had threatened somebody's younger brother or said something that he was going to beat him up, and like 10 or 15 dudes jumped him during the day, and one of the dudes pulled out a knife and stabbed him multiple times. He got nearly stabbed by his heart. He got stab wounds all over his face, and he got put in an interview by Dennis Wereld. You can go check it out. It should be still available. The video is absolutely embarrassing, with the 2 little girls at the end of the video. Fucking embarrassment as a parent that I would be. If my kids were saying shit like that, bro, I'd fucking beat them up. I'm sorry, bro, but that's just me. But I felt bad because I was like, damn, bro, I used to go to school with this dude that got stabbed. I used to be friends with his cousin. I used to do shit with them outside of school time. The thing was with me, I never did anything like illegal participations. I don't know if they did those type of things. I'm not gonna sit and act here as if they did, because that'd be accusing somebody of something they may have done or may not have done. That's weird, right? But obviously in the back of my mind, I was like, hey man, as fucked up as it sounds, there's a reason you got stabbed. Like, you don't just get stabbed for no reason. Yeah, so that was a bizarre story. I was like, damn, I can't believe it. So he hardly escaped life. So I hope he moves around better, and you know, I obviously hope to everyone I went to school with that they just mind their own business in life and just do well and continue well. So this was a story, man, of some crazy stuff at high school. I've seen it all, and you know, some of you can obviously say that I've been lying, but it ain't lying, bro. No, man, the school was crazy. Akkers was a fucking weird place to begin with, man. Like, it was a lot of fun, obviously. Like, I have a lot of good memories, made a lot of good friends, a lot of positive, good teachers at that school. But it was just the area around, surrounding us all, which had a massive impact on how we sometimes behave outside of school. And a lot of kids at that school also tried to portray a certain lifestyle, which they weren't about, meaning they act tough. But if you speak to them one-on-one, they're actually very nice to talk to. They're just lonely. They're trying to be someone that they're not. They want to be accepted by somebody. And I always stayed myself. I wasn't ever the tough guy at school. I was just always myself. I was a dude that people liked. I was just a dude who didn't like people. So that's a different story. Anyways, man, hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you later, man. Peace out.